We begin in West Africa, where soldiers in Niger Republic have blockaded the presidential palace, as well as several ministries in the capital, Niamey. According to reports, no shots were fired, and it's not clear if this is an attempt by the Presidential Guard to seize power. President Mohamed Bazoum is reportedly in his residence with his family, and talks are underway. The landlocked West African state is one of the most unstable nations in the world, experiencing 4 coups since independence from France in 1960, as well as numerous other attempts on power. The country's last coup occurred in February 2010, overthrowing then-President Mamadou Tanja. However, according to a security source, there was an attempted putsch on the 31st of March 2021, just 2 days before Bazoum's inauguration. Lying in the heart of the Sahel, Niger is 2/3 desert and persistently ranks at the bottom or near it in the UN's Human Development Index, a benchmark of prosperity. In the meantime, Niger's presidency has come out saying that some members of the Presidential Guard tried to move against President Mohamed Bazoum, warning that the army was ready to attack them if they did not back down. The presidency's official Twitter account said that presidential guards engaged in an anti-republican demonstration and tried in vain to obtain the support of the other security forces. It added that President Bazoum and his family were well after news agencies quoted security sources as saying that the guards were holding President Bazoum inside the presidential palace in the capital, Niamey. Now, President Bola Tinubu has sent out a warning to Niger Republic that the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, will not accept any action that impedes the smooth functioning of legitimate authority in Niger or any part of West Africa. He says the leadership of the ECOWAS region and all lovers of democracy around the world will not tolerate any situation that incapacitates the democratically elected government of the country. President Tinubu says he's closely monitoring the situation where Niger presidential guards are reportedly holding President Mohamed Bazoum inside the presidential palace in the capital, which has been blocked off by military vehicles. President Tinubu says, as the chairperson of ECOWAS, Authority of Heads of State and Government, Nigeria stands firmly with the elected government in Niger, and he also conveys the absolute resolve of leaders in the sub-region to stand, defend, and preserve constitutional order. Joining us to discuss this latest development is our State House correspondent, Femi Akonde. Femi, well, before we delve fully into what the President Bola Tinubu has said with regard to happenings in Niger, what really are we hearing about the latest development in the landlocked state?
Well, the situation in Niger Republic right now is very fluid. All we know is that, well, the president has been held inside the presidential villa by the presidential guards. But one thing we're also hearing is that the hierarchy, not the entire hierarchy of the military and the presidential guard, are in support of what is currently going on, are in support of that breakout group from within the country's military to truncate the democratic process there. So we expect the situation to change very fast. People are worried. They hope that this standoff will not result into a confrontation between security agencies there in Niger Republic, so that the situation that is currently ongoing in Sudan will be avoided. There are different channels being explored to see how calm can be restored and the democratically elected government of President Mohamed Bazoum can be reinstated in the Niger Republic. We are hearing that there are also diplomatic talks ongoing. Well, the military option is also on the table, but that might be the last resort that will be explored by the ECOWAS led by President Bola Tinubu. You recall that President Tinubu had said at the last AU media meeting, the 5th AU media meeting, he had said that he would ensure that Africa, the ECOWAS region, has a standby military force. He will strengthen the standby military force of ECOWAS. We know that that standby force is currently in Guinea-Bissau to keep the peace and to ward off the military from taking over government. What will happen next in the Niger Republic, we do not know. But everything rests on the table of President Bola Tinubu as chairperson of the ECOWAS heads of governments.
Indeed, and the President Tinubu has assured, quoting that statement from him now, "We will do everything within our powers to ensure democracy is firmly planted, nurtured, well-rooted, and thrives in our region." Could you give us more insight, into what this actually means?
Well, it's also an opportunity for President Bola Tinubu to match words with action. The new impetus he has injected into ECOWAS when he assumed the chairmanship of that commission, where he categorically stated that coups will no longer be tolerated in the West Africa sub-region, where he says ECOWAS will no longer lie down as a toothless bulldog that can only bark but not bite, where he threatened sanctions against countries that are experiencing or that are intending to experience. Where he called on countries who are being threatened by military takeovers, where he says that indeed the ECOWAS sub-region will no longer allow military takeovers, but democratic system of government must be strengthened and must be managed in all of this country. So all eyes now is on President Bola Tinubu, how he leads ECOWAS through this very challenging time, especially in Niger Republic, a country known for coup d'etats. They just had their first democratic election in 2021, the one that produced Mohamed Bazoum. But as it stands now, that is being threatened by the military standoff there. What happens next is on the desk of President Bola Tinubu using the vehicle of ECOWAS. Ambassador.
And indeed, Niger is actually critical. It borders Nigeria, and there will be a lot of concerns as to what the impact of this could be on the Nigerian nation. Do you have any ideas what this could be?
Well, it's also a neighboring country. It shares borders with Nigeria, and any instability in Niger Republic would have a ripple effect on Nigeria. We would see a movement of people who migrate from Niger Republic, internally displaced persons, or people who might want to flee the conflict that will arise as a result of the military takeover. A lot of them will cross into Nigeria's borders. And of course, we already know that Nigeria also has so much on its plate, already has issues of insecurity to handle. It would also Nigeria would also be interested in ensuring that its neighbors are stable, that there's political stability in neighboring countries of Niger Republic, the Benin Republic, and all other surrounding countries. This would also have an impact on the security situation in the Sahel. We know that there is an ongoing insurgency in this region, the Sahel, through Niger, Mali, and all of that, and some of the countries in that region. The security situation there is a serious concern to ECOWAS and indeed the African Union. So ECOWAS will ensure that Niger remains calm, the situation there remains under control, so that it does not snowball into a full-scale crisis that would have a far-reaching effect on the entire sub-region. Ambassador.
Absolutely, Femi. Thank you very much for that update. Femi Akonde for us there in Abuja.